If there's one thing we all know, it's that the wall does not forgive and it does not forget. And modern women are getting a harsh dose of reality. We've got a good one for you here today from Manhood, titled When Women Over 35 Finally Realize They Have Hit the Wall. Let's jump into it.
Younger women are better. 90% of your eggs are gone by 30. Women tend to have very complicated pregnancies after the age of 35. And if you marry a woman at that age, it's not. But older women, I constantly see them bragging about their house, their kids, how amazing of a wife they are. But I never hear them bragging about their husbands and why their husbands are so amazing. All of the credit and adoration is always to themselves and not their husbands.
The number of mothers who go online to bash their husbands is unacceptable. Those women will endlessly mock their husbands to the entire planet for some of the dumbest reasons imaginable.
The other thing that older women do not want the men to know. And again, they make up these words that you can't define, don't really mean anything, in order to confuse the men to think that they're getting a better deal than they're getting.
That's nothing new. Modern women have been using terms like mental load, weaponized incompetence, and oppression so loosely that they have no definition at all anymore. Let's be real.
Be the most toxic thing that has ever come out of my mouth, but I'm just gonna say it because I know for a fact that there are other women who are sharing this same sentiment as I am. So I'm going to speak for all of us. My love life is so dry right now. In fact, my love life has been dry since September of 2024. So we're going on a year here. I am actually at a point where I think I'd rather be in a situationship. Yes, I said it. I think I would rather be in a situationship than be this single and bored.
All these women do is get into situationships. They can't handle an actual committed relationship because they've determined 95% of men to be unworthy of them.
That is saying a lot because I feel like I have done all of the healing work that a person can do in their lifetime. I've done all the right things. I have chosen peace first above all else. I've spent time alone. I have learned to enjoy my time alone, and sometimes I enjoy it a little bit too much. But I don't know. At this rate, it's like, if I'm not at least gonna find someone to be in a committed relationship with, at least I can still get something out of a situationship. Like, at least I can still get some excitement.
The fact that she thinks a situationship will solve some of her problems proves that she's done nothing to improve herself. She's committed to making the same mistakes over and over again.
Over a situationship that isn't gonna last. Because at least when you're in a situationship, you have this idea that, okay, maybe things are going to go further. You at least can picture a future with someone. You're living in a fantasy world, and I like living in that fantasy world, okay? That is a little bit more exciting than me sitting here and, quite honestly, every day just being like, is this what it's come to? And just questioning, like, will it ever be my turn? Is it ever going to happen for me?
Modern women always choose fantasy over compromise. She would rather fool herself into thinking the dude she's hooking up with will choose her for a relationship rather than doing the work it's going to take to make an honest relationship actually work.
I don't know. I'm just really tired of being in this place where there's like absolutely no one. And I've only been in 2 situationships in my entire life. Like, really, I've only been in 2. And they were the worst time of my life. Like, they ruined me. They made me sick. They made me like get to the worst place I've ever been in my life. But at least when I was in a situationship, I felt like there was hope. I felt like there was at least someone out there that could fulfill something within me.
Replace the word situationship with cigarettes, and it's just as unhealthy. Situationships provide very little benefit for a massive price, but she's so bored and empty that she's willing to go back to that toxic life if it means having something to feel.
And that something is just that feeling of closeness that you simply cannot get with a platonic friendship or a platonic relationship. So that is where we're currently at. We are at the point where we would honestly prefer a situationship, just a little something that can bring us some excitement, something that we could get for the plot, to then just being so single to the point where it like literally seems impossible.
It's insane how she thinks the only solution to her problem is to go back to something that she knows doesn't work, but she does it anyway because she wants the excitement. You just can't make that crap up.
Girls, we need to get off Hinge and we need to get off Tinder. Like, right now. Delete it from your phone and don't look back. All these horror stories that I've heard from guys that we've met saying that they use it for validation, attention, they just use it because it's a video game.
Literally, these are straight words from men's mouth. They literally just use it like once or twice a week just for the fun of it. Like, no one's actually using this legitly.
Like, you're just making yourself so available to these men, and like, of course, like, our hearts are all like, oh, like, let's give them a chance, and like, we'll actually try and use this app for the right things. And they're just like playing us all.
They obviously talk to a couple of Chads who use Tinder. Those are the only men who get attention from those apps. Modern women get endless attention from these apps, but they have the nerve to blame all of us for their lack of dates. It is ridiculous. Just a quick reminder, guys, I have a second channel. The link is in the pinned comment. Make sure you go and check it out. Now back to the video.
Controversial topic of the day. This is advice to ladies 35, single, looking for a husband. Forget about the emotions. Pick logically. And here's what I mean. I recently had lunch with a beautiful girl. She's 38 years old, looking for a husband. She says, I've gone on several dates. I just don't feel anything. The sparks, the romance, the butterflies, the chemistry. I told her, forget about the feelings. And here's what I mean. For most of human existence, this is for all the history we have written record of, typically we reproduce when we were teenagers.
Modern women want that magical movie moment where they meet their true love and they have a happy ending where everything works out without them having to do anything. It has never worked that way, but they refuse to believe otherwise.
Why? Because this is when we produce the hormones that create the crazy butterflies and attractions. This is evolution's way of making sure the human race continued. This is why when teenagers fall in love, there is zero logic. There is, we're in love, we're going to get married, how are you going to survive? Who knows? Who cares? I'm in love. There is zero logic, all emotions. Remember when you were a teenager and you had a crush? You were up till 6 a.m. talking to that person on the phone, thinking about that person. That typically happens between teenage years to early 20s because this is typically when we were supposed to reproduce.
And this is exactly why these women should not have waited until their 30s to start looking for a real relationship. Age isn't just a number, it's a real thing with real consequences.
This is why so many people that are 35 and up have a hard time getting married because they think they're going to have those butterflies and the feelings, and for the most part, we're not. Why? Because that time where our body was going to produce these crazy butterflies is gone. Now, the older we get, we become less emotional and more logical. So a lot of people think, I'm going to meet somebody and it's going to be like The Notebook. It's going to be like a Hollywood romance and he's going to sweep me off my feet and it's going to happen. The older you are, that probably won't happen. This is for both men and women.
We also have to take into account that if a woman is waiting until she's almost 40 to settle down, quote unquote, then she's already going to have some significant baggage and experiences that have left her bitter. That's not something that men find attractive.
Because now we're thinking logically. Your body's not going to produce those kind of hormones. So ladies, if you're looking for a husband, think logically. Find a man that you genuinely admire. This is a must. A woman can only fall in love with a man that she genuinely admires. So think of someone that's going to be a good companion, someone that you have similar values and interests, someone that you are physically attracted to, but someone that you admire. Admiration eventually leads to love. Ladies, stop thinking emotionally and start thinking logically if you're trying to find a husband.
That's easier said than done for a lot of these women. They grow up thinking that their emotions are more powerful than facts. We see this when modern women tell a man that they don't feel like their facts are true. Logic and modern women oftentimes really just don't mix.
If a woman's 35 and unmarried, it's likely that she will never get married. Once a woman hits 30, is not in a relationship, it's more likely that she won't have kids than she will. And selling these dreams, I'm not in the business of it. I'm just a fan of speaking in reality, being honest. Kevin Samuels, what I liked about him is he had real actionable advice. And it's so much better than anything that the trad cons will give you. He said if you're 35 and single, the trad cons will tell you pray for a husband.
Kevin Samuels hit these women with blunt honesty. It's the one thing that modern women refuse to hear and will deny it with every fiber of their being, but he didn't let something like that stop him anyway.
Go to churches. Churches don't generally have men you'll be attracted to because men that can think for themselves don't generally go to church. Kevin Samuels said, lower your standards, hire a matchmaker, get a personal trainer. If you're 35, it's going to require time, money, and effort in order to get what you want. If Christian women have a poor outcome, it's never blamed on their behavior, but they blame it on God's plan.
It's funny how these women would talk about how strong and independent they are, only to turn around, join the church, and say that a higher power is now in control of their lives. That's literally the opposite of independence.
I'm not saying God doesn't have a plan, but I genuinely do not believe that God wanted Nala to put her hole on OnlyFans. I really don't. I don't. And, that choice will have a repercussion. But what I've noticed is that whenever there's a negative outcome, the Christians never tell women that it's based on their behavior. It's always, it's because of God. But if a man has a poor outcome, it's always because of his behavior.
Nothing is ever the fault of modern women, guys. There is always something that's beyond their control that's to blame for their shortcomings. It might just be nice to have that as a cop-out, honestly. But anyway, guys, we're going to be leaving today's episode there. As always, don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you are new here. Drop a comment, and I will see you all in the next one. Make sure you take care of yourselves. Peace.